Hey guys, what's up? This is the Demon Corpse, and I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. And today we'll be talking about FromSoftware and the newest game, Armored Core 6, that looks amazing. And sadly I don't have 60 borrow. It's probably worth the price anyway, and I probably would enjoy the game even if I die a lot. But as a whole, I today we'll be talking about will any of the older games, and I know some people are like, wait, what older games? You mean Dark Souls? Because most people only know, Dark Souls and Elden Ring, but then when everyone found out about Armored Core, everyone's like, what's that? And some people are like, oh, I remember those games, and some people were just confused. I'm like, wait, they've made more than just Dark Souls? It's like everything before 2009 they never existed. Like when 2009 hit with Dark Souls, that's when they just came to existence from software for some odd reason. That's what some people think. Well, even go even further to Demon Souls, and Demon Souls, I think the reason why we're not getting the original Demon Souls, I know people are like, what we do? It's on the PS5. No, that's a remaster of the original Demon Souls. There's a difference. I mean the original version. The reason why I believe is because of legal reasons and mostly publishing. That's literally what it is, including who published in different regions because it was different publishers as a whole in every region in the world, sadly. But I think Atlas were the ones who published it everywhere else, I believe, maybe, if I'm correct or not. So I don't get why there's an issue trying to publish the game on, like, well, it was also released on the PS3, so maybe it's also just trying to get that game to work on other platforms is probably difficult because PS3 games are very difficult to try to re-release sometimes because of how bad the process. Well, the processor wasn't bad on the PS3. It's just it took too damn forever for people to learn how to use it. But I mean, it's a good processor. It's just too damn difficult to use, if you know what I mean. If you want to look into the PS3's odd processor. But there's even Ninja Blade that is a hidden. I think it's still cheap. It is such a great game. I highly recommend you guys find that game before it goes up because I do think backwards compatibility is not dead. I do believe Armored Core 4 and Armored Core 5 Verdict Day and Armored Core 5 will be re-released again, but under backwards compatibility. I think that's possible because those games, Armored Core 4 was published by Sega, so there's not much of an issue trying to republish that game, and I think Sega published it in Europe, so there's not much of an issue trying to republish because literally the only places these games are going to sell a lot, like any game, would be Europe, North America, and Japan, and then there's Asia, and then there's Australia that has their own like version. But most of the time, they're published by the same company, and that's Sega. So there's not much of an issue with the Armored Core games 4, 5, and Verdict Day, because 5 and Verdict Day were published by Bandai, so that's not an issue with Bandai Namco, but it just says Bandai, but you get my point. Armored Core 4 was published by Sega, so that's not an issue. So I do think those games will be backwards compatible at some point, because I don't really believe Microsoft saying, "Oh, we're discontinuing backwards compatibility," while they just bought Activision and now they can make a whole bunch of games backwards compatible. Because let's just say Activision owns a lot of games that were released on the 360, but they're not backwards compatible. Let's just say, like the Transformers. Well, they don't own they own the. I think they don't own, they do own the publishing rights, but they have to get authorization from Hasbro, and I know right now they're trying to get that fixed. So let's hope for the best. Then there is the other publisher that has published their games, and that's Age Tech. I think that's what they're called. I'm gonna check one last time because I think it is Age Tech. They no longer exist. They got disbanded. I think it's because no one was buying their games. And yeah, I think they're still active. Are they? Maybe, or maybe they're not. I mean, they published a lot of Japanese games like Armored Core, including Evergrace and Eternal Ring and the King of Fighters '99. I'm looking at it right now because most of the games I know that Age Tech ever published were games by the FromSoftware people. And there is the Otage games, and those games are backwards compatible. And I do maybe believe they could come to the Switch or the PS4, PS5. It's plausible. I mean, the Sega owns the publishing rights, but Microsoft are the ones who own the exclusivity rights, so you have to go through Microsoft. But I think Microsoft doesn't really give a crap about the Otage games. Like, let's be honest here, they didn't really care about them back then when they launched. They weren't that successful back then because FromSoftware wasn't a company that everyone knew about. Only a couple people did. So it's plausible. And then there's the Tenchu games that are amazing stealth games. I do recommend getting those Tenchu games before they go up in price because they will go up in price whenever they make a new Tenchu because I'm more shocked they did an Armored Core 6. If they did an Armored Core 6, they're going to make another Tenchu game. Get away for that. And when Tenchu 6 comes out, well, I think it's Tenchu 6. I think it's maybe it's 5. I no Tenchu Z was it's confusing if you know what I mean, but whenever the next Tenchu game does come out and when it does come out, let's just say it's probably going to be well, the older games are going to be very expensive, let's just say, because most scalpers and then a whole bunch of mom and pop stores are going to bring the price up. So you may want to grab your Tenchu copy before it's too late. I've been looking, but I haven't been that blessed enough to find Tenchu 2. I've been looking for that one. I do need to find Tenchu 4. And then there's a couple on the PSP that aren't that expensive. I could buy the PAL versions, and those are probably going to stay the price as they are because no one wants to buy a PAL copy for some reason, weirdly, but it's the same thing as the English copy, but hey, it's just how it is. I don't question people. Then there's Enchanted Arms. It's always backwards compatible, but it could get re-released again. You never know. I don't think there's that much of an issue with the publishing. It's by Ubisoft, so could happen. Then there's the Kingsfield games that I have never played before. I've heard of them, but let's just say they're in the triple digits. They are expensive. Even the PAL, even the Asian, not the PAL, but the Japanese copies are worth a lot of money. And I don't even think those have English subtitles, so I'm like, dang, I mean, this series is expensive. And the only games we've ever gone, I believe, in North America, if we even did, I think we did get some in North America, but they weren't that successful. Or the name may have been changed just to make it probably a little bit easier to get those games here. But there's only 3 Kingsfield games, and they are, I think there's 3, maybe there's 4. I think there's 3 or 4. I know there's 3 or 4, but I think that's that many. But though they are somewhat expensive, as I know. Maybe the PS2 copy, and that's the thing about PS2 copies. Some are expensive and then some are not. It's kind of like a hit or miss sometimes because I don't know why. It's just how it is. But I don't know. It's weird. But hey, it's just how it is. But then there's what's that? Oh yeah, Kuon, the most expensive PS2 game out there. That's like around $1,000 sometimes, unopened. Well, not unopened, but open. An open copy is like $1,000 sometimes. That's what I have seen. Sometimes 900 or 800. That game, I would not. I don't like saying, but it's plausible. I could totally see Kuon get a re-release, maybe, but I don't know much about like who else published it. I know H Tech did publish it in North America, or it probably was just only released in North America and Japan, or it could be music. And that's the other thing. Most of the time, it's just music rights, and that's why they always just remake those games because it's just easier because there's no like like trying to go through these loopy loops. Just try to get the game re-released. But hey, you never know. I mean, we've seen some crazy things like the 007 GoldenEye re-release on Xbox and Switch under the online services. So hey, I mean, it's plausible. You never know. Even Fear, that shocked me with Fear, and I've always talked about Fear and how I'm impressed with the backwards compatibility to get Fear on modern platforms. That's pretty nuts. Gotta give respect to Phil Spencer on that one, but crazy. Then there is 3D Dot Heroes that I have played a little bit of. It's really fun. I mean, it has gone up a little. It's not that expensive as it used to be. It did go up a lot back when the PS3 storefront was actually going to close, and then they canceled it. It's now like around the $50 range, but if you can find it for like $40, you may want to grab it because I do think it would get a re-release, but because of how FromSoftware does things, they may not re-release the game. But hey, you never know. There's probably a couple of other FromSoftware games I can't even think of that may have never been released outside of Japan, or they were, and if they are, they're probably wicked expensive because, hey, it's FromSoftware, and anything FromSoftware, like Konami and some Square Enix games, are wicked expensive because, I mean, there's no other way to play them except emulation. And with the Armored Core games, I mean, I mean, even the older ones. I know the older Armored Core games are not that fun to play. Let's just say they're a little bit hard, but for me, I don't really care. I'll play them, but I've always heard that. But hey, you never know. Like they're probably fun games, and you just gotta suck it up and enjoy the game. But I mean, anything's possible. I'm hoping for the best. I hope a lot of these games do get re-releases. I know Metal with Chaos did get a re-release, so that's not an issue. It's on every platform. I don't think on the Switch, but there is a physical copy. But it is like I think it's around $50 if you want to get the physical copy for Metal with Chaos. And I do want to play the game, so I'll probably try to find that PS4 copy if I do. But hey, that's about all. Like, share, and subscribe. And what's your guys' opinion on From Software re-releasing their old games on modern platforms, if that's even possible? Let's just say, maybe on the Xbox's backwards compatibility or onto the Nintendo Switch Online. But I don't think any of the I don't even think none of the From Software games ever got released on the Wii. Maybe they are. Maybe there's some games I don't even know about on the OG Xbox or all those systems, but you never know. That's the thing, because From Software is one of those odd companies where they release something weird while they release something that's so amazing, and then they release another odd game. They're a weird ass company, but hey, you never know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you, scavengers.